Blessings, and welcome to another episode of All Over It podcast. Today, we in August, yeah, boy, August 3rd, 2026, episode 66, God and AI. Today's a special day. Today's a special episode, a grand episode set. You check? Today, I have the honor of interviewing somebody special. Yeah. But yeah, before I get into that, I just have to say, I gotta give you thanks. You, the viewers, the people that is tune in, that us go back, watch the replays. Gotta give you thanks and appreciation and continue to like, share, comment, do all that good YouTube, social media stuff, you know. Anybody you know that need to hear this, share it. Don't keep it to yourself. But I gotta give you thanks for sharing and spreading the love. Check. Well, yeah, as you know, we always coming with value here on the All Over It podcast. And today is no different. Today I got somebody powerful here on this podcast here today. Check. I gotta really big up this person, you know? But yeah, today we here to talk about God and AI. We're going to talk about the intersection between technology, business, and having faith, believing in your higher power. You know, so on that note, I have to welcome to the All Over It podcast a good brother to me, family. You check, the founder, the leader of Legal Concepts, AI analyst, business, legal mind, financial mind, data analyst, data specialist, you name it. So many qualifications and accolades, too numerous to mention. Yeah. So I want you to help me welcome to the All Over It podcast, Mr. Carlvin Brooks. Yeah, man. Welcome, my brother. Blessings.
Thanks for having me here.
So good to have you. Yeah, I really appreciate you for taking the time out. And yeah, we gonna have a good one. We're gonna have a good conversation here for sure. And yeah, man, everything good with you?
Can't complain. I mean, you can't complain, but ain't gonna change anything.
Good. Well, that's it. All we could do is keep pushing forward, you know? And yeah, man. I ain't mentioned it in your intro, but yeah, you know, the Galavan King, Mr. Outside, you know? Mr. Yeah, Soca King. Still a
Yeah.
road man. Yeah, you know?
Still a road man.
Yeah, man. I got a big other Soca King one time, but nah, for real, I really commend you. And like I say, so much accolades, You know, you're doing great things and great work, and I really commend it. And it's really respected and don't feel like it's unnoticed. You know, real talk. Check big up yourself one time. But yeah, of course, we need that work-life balance. We need that, you know, yeah, you work hard, but you gotta play hard too. Like
You got
Marshall
to.
say,
You
work
got
hard,
to.
play harder, you know? So I feel you. After all the work, you gallivant. And that's why you've been knighted the Gallivant King.
Man, I hope when somebody see me out the Galavan too, man. I start
Exactly.
telling people, you know, you just go on vacation. I just be going on vacation and so on. The last period coming down to St. Martin. And sometimes I just be like, I actually born here, but a vacation in here at the same time. So the place where I born is a vacation place for many.
That
Imagine
is it.
that.
That is it. I live where you vacation. That is it.
You should
Uh,
hashtag that one there, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So to start to get into it, like how you mentioned, you're from St. Martin, but you're not living in St. Martin. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Carlvin Brooks outside of the titles and businesses?
All right, all right, all right. Well, my name is Carlvin Brooks. I grew up South Ward, close to Milton Peters College. I just always tell people it's like when they used to have two bells. I don't know how it is now because I gone so long, oh my gosh. Anyways, they used to have two bells. They used to have the first one and then after the second one. If I hear the first one and I still home, I inside of that class by the second one. That's how close I was to the school.
That is it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And since for a while now up in Holland, like since 2008, I came up. I went to Holland to study law. When I was finished with law, I was wondering which direction I should go into with law, and it's like a lot of that became easier in the sense of I'll put it like this: my mother passed away when I was doing my study. We had to, my brothers and I, we had to go through the struggle of saving the house, not really knowing what's going on, not really understanding how to live life at such a young age, because it's since 2011 that she passed away. At the same time, too, that led to a certain path. What I gotta say is been God guiding me through that path, man. Because it's like when that had happened, I had to also choose my study. I also had to choose which direction I would be going to. Then after I chose financial law, and financial law is like I just explain it like this: if you go to the bank for me is like a supermarket. So on one end, you have the people who just go and buy a mortgage, to put it like that. But then you also got the people who just supply a mortgage, to put it like that. So my study helped me to understand how both sides of that work. So it's like you can put me on any side, I understand how things work. And I chose that because I was trying to understand how it is to manage a house, manage a mortgage, go through all of that. And so during my study, and yeah, my study helped me out a lot with it. So after that, after finishing my study, then after I start working.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, sir.
you get cut off here. You were saying
Yeah, but no, understand. No,
working.
my screen went to moving about good now. Yeah, so
Okay, good.
I started to work in the finances sector. Then very quickly I jumped into education. I remember I just tell people this joke. I saw someone who was very influential where I'm working now. And then after I approached that person after an event, the person said, yeah, 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 come out to time, grab. And in the Netherlands, they'll say, grab a coffee or grab tea, grab some tea. I was like, okay. So then I took my time. I looked the person up on LinkedIn, made an arrangement to meet up with the person. I was very nervous. Walk up to the person and I'll put it like this: I get through the job, but the journey to get the job is I'd sit down and I took a piece of paper and I start writing circles and diagrams about all going on in the world. And then like in the middle there is my bank account. I trying to route that money to that bank account right there. And the
Mm.
person looked at me and imagined that was my pitch and I get that job, huh? And from
That
since
sounds like a interesting one.
and like for since then, it's like I've been in education. You could say full time. It's been a great learning opportunity. Sometimes I just be like, how did I end up here? Because it's like it's really something what I really didn't see myself getting into, but now that I'm here, I'm thankful for it, thankful for all of the opportunities. And I would say last but not least with that entire storyline is like I started off working by accountancy, and then after I got like a part-time job within education teaching international law. And after I was finished with international law, then after headed over to data analytics. And I love to study data analytics so much that I made the switch to jump over to data analytics. Let's say working full time and now working part time with accountancy. So it's been a journey.
Sound like that self. Yeah, but that's very interesting, and I'm glad that you share that. And even to the point that you made about being an educator and thing, yeah, up in Holland, you do work as an educator. You teach in one of the universities, correct?
Yeah, I like to say it in English because in English it's called the Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences.
Good.
In Dutch we
That
call it
is it.
hogeschool. So they make the distinction between university, universiteit, and hogeschool. I like, nah, 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 nah. I don't see myself going there. It's not my interest. But where I'm at, I'll say it in English wherever I go because it sounds a lot better now.
I feel you. Yeah, it does sound better. University of Applied Sciences. Yeah, man, that sound top top level. But yeah, so like you mentioned that even to that point, you're an educator in the Netherlands, but also you fly down here to St. Martin to provide training sessions as well too with SEDC. And for instance, you had one that I attended about project management, and then recently you also had one about strategic planning and building
Business
business model
model
kind of
analysis, yeah.
and so on. So before we get into that, like how you share your backstory, your beginning, and I really appreciate you for sharing that, and even that personal moment with us here, trust and believe, it's love alone. And I was going to ask you, what led you to go down that journey that you're on today, but you basically shared that already. So if I have to ask you a different question, let me ask you, since you built your expertise around law, finance, technology, AI, let me say strategy, was that a plan always, or did like what happened just naturally lead you there?
I think it's more of a naturally being led. And I think that's where I can already start to say like faith is extremely important. It's like I also grew up in the church when I was I grew up in the church here in St. Martin. When I left to the Netherlands, I also was in the church. I used to be playing in the band in the church. I can play piano, used to lead worship, all of them type of things. Even used to sing because when I was a teenager, I got singing lessons and piano lessons by the great Anastasia Larmony.
Okay,
So it's
good.
like it's only when you get older you notice that St. Martin have so much. Um, we have so much, and our people they give so much, and we really talented. And
Facts.
when it
Facts.
comes to the point of faith itself, is like with all of those things what you mentioned, what kept guiding me was if you don't understand something, there must be a way to understand it. So if you think you can't do something, then you won't get through with doing it. Um, and it's like because I have faith, it's like sometimes we just say we believe in God and we believe in this and we believe in that. But going through all of those different things, I had to go through things about the universe. I had to go through things about space, and then you find out topics what's scientifically backed, like the sun flying through nothing. We find that normal now. We call it space. We don't even have a name besides it. It's literally space, but it's ripping. Huh? It's not standing still. It's moving through nothing. Space. And we act like that's normal. So it's like if we see somebody going through a hard time on the road, we like, man, things will never get better. I like, but we flying through space. What do you mean things ain't going to get better? And that's scientifically backed. Huh? That's science right there. It'll get a bit crazier. Come mentioning the path of faith with it now. It'll get a bit crazier when you start thinking that the sun flying through space and then the earth like going all type of zigzags way trying to hit the sun because that's gravity, but it going perfectly, it going with such a perfect speed and an angle, and it's so tremendous within a certain radius, even though going all type of zigzag ways, you don't know if it's up, down, and we find that normal. So they had a point inside of the entire journey when I was like, people used to be telling me about, yeah, not everybody believe in God. There's no God. I'm like, but then you believe in a giant rock flying through nothing as if that's normal. And from that point on, I had such an deep inner belief, like nobody going to tell me what's real and what's not real, because what's real is more crazier than what I read in the Bible.
True. Nah, I feel you. I feel you on that because what? Like how they say God works in mysterious ways. And like how you say that make me think like, for those people who feel like they can't do nothing, like we all can make something out of nothing because like you say, the sun is just hurtling through nothing and it getting it done. Everything just getting done. So
You know,
yeah. I
that
like
idea
that
with
point.
the sun flying through nothing. I find out in 2022, huh? I was up in Holland watching a video on YouTube and they had like the sun going so flying through space. I'm like, that's real? Man, for since that time I started telling people, man, you're a billionaire, you won't know it, man. You got like sometimes you walk up to some people and I just walk up to them and I'm like, well, you worth 50 million, man. You worth 10 million, you worth, and it's a crazy thing. Sometimes people does, it's either they believe me or they either think I'm crazy. One of the two. One of the two. But it's like, why not? Why not think that about yourself? What, you can think you're worth $5? You gotta put a price on it.
Nah, I feel you. Cause to the point you made a little earlier too, is like we could do anything we set our mind to. We just have to have that belief and that faith. Like they got this line I heard once that they say instead of saying I can't do something, we should turn that around and say how can I do it?
Yeah.
Instead of closing the door, that same sentence can be altered a little bit to open the door. You know, make instead of closing the door on the possibility, you start to think about the possibilities. But to move on, let me ask you. So, like how you say, you was naturally led down this path, down this journey, and God played a big part in that journey. And trust me, I feel you because I just say all the time, like God is with us always, and all the experiences we went through is what made us who we are, is what molded us into the persons we are today. You know, so let me ask you more about legal concepts. What made you start legal concepts, and what vision did you have when you founded it?
Well, going through a study that talks about billions as if it's nothing. I mean, I just also explain my study like this to people. Like a lot of people sometimes talk about Bitcoin, stocks, and all of those type of things. And for me, like a Bitcoin is a car on the road. I studied how to build the road itself. So I've always had this thing about infrastructure, and since I'm dealing with those ridiculous numbers on a daily basis, it's like you just need to do certain steps. And I'm saying it as if it's simple, but it's like you just need to do certain steps to accomplish that goal. And then I was like, let me try some things out. So trying a program here, I was trying a program there. And because I was teaching accountancy to accountancy students, they was like, that's a business expense. I said, oh, what? And then I was like, yeah, it's a business expense. If you actually do it the right way, you could deduct it. It's called a deductible. I said, a deductible? So you mean if I just sign up and get a business, everything what I have is cheaper? Because in the Netherlands, you have to pay, they call it VAT. So that's a tax on top of
Taxes.
whatever you purchase. And it was explaining me, well, I was reading through the books because I teaching the students, but I was teaching them law, and they know a bunch of things with Excel and calculating stuff. I was like, so if I start a company, then after everything what I already doing going to be cheaper? That was the decision right there and then to start a company. And then I had to get a name of the company, and I was like, it's crazy that people don't really know that these concepts are legal. Boom, legal concepts.
I like that. I like that. I like that wordplay. I like that one. Nah, but that's that's dope. Like you say, natural. It just what have to happen that happen. You know, God's plan that always prevail, and life does flow how it's supposed to. You know. Before I get into the next question, I just want to bring up this shout out comment in the chat. I don't know if you could see the comments on your end, but just say let me bring this up. Big up my boy Selwyn one time. But yeah, he check in, yeah, big up yourself one time, Carlvin, you don't know.
Thanks,
So
thanks, thanks.
I
Big
just
up to you
wanted to
too. I
just wanted
seen
to show
Wilson
you
and the
up.
name Wilson, some good people now. I think I got family probably from Sabre with Wilson. Huh?
Ah, but them is your people from up your areas, them is yeah,
You serious?
I know,
Why?
but anyway, let me but yeah, so like how we talk about legal concepts. For anybody hearing about legal concepts for the first time, what problem do you help businesses solve?
Well, okay. I think it's kind of good to mention this first before I dive into the things and social legal concepts. It's like I got flown into St. Martin for a specific goal, and that was to really help out with the trainings by SCDC. It's like I didn't fly down here as legal concepts, and to be honest, I am having so much of fun gallivanting left and right. If anybody gotta come and ask me anything about legal concepts, there is no. When I mean like for business, huh? Because it's
Yeah.
like my time is short, and I have a digital company. I mean, not right now, but this podcast is an exception because it's you now. So it's like when it comes to legal concepts, I tend to tell people, you want something done, I help you get it done, and I help you get it done faster. I mean, before when I was started, because I started from since like 2020 with it, and when I first started off with it, it was like you're trying to sell yourself. Like I just do this and I just do that and I just do 15 other things. And then people just was getting totally confused about what do you actually do? Why can I come towards you? And then I start to say, um, I just help you get things done faster. So I start typing that in online, how to help people get things faster. And then it turns out that they had this word called automation, what I wasn't really bothering with because I have a background with law. And I like, yeah, automation. Well, I'm happy that I dove into it because it really changed my life. I mean, I can see basically any process now, the smallest to the most difficult, and find ways to like execute it and get it done a bit quicker. And at the same time, too, now, sometimes you need an automation, or sometimes you just need to listen to people. to the concept because it's done legal. So along the way, I learned you never know who you're dealing with. Take some time out to get to know the person. Sometimes just listening to the person alone. Like they had this one time I was inside of a cafe sitting down with a good friend of mine, and I just listened to the man for an hour. And after the hour, the man said, "What's your bank account?" I was like, by chance, I always really ready to catch money now. So I had a link one time, send it to him, boom, bam. And then it's like the man paid me like 50 euros for just sitting down listening to his story. I like, but this is how this is work.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
consultant. That's a consult. He pay a. It's like you had a quick consultancy session. Yeah. So he check in. He just pay you your charge. You know,
just
it's just like you book a call, a $50 consulting fee with a lawyer. Yeah.
yeah, because that's a crazy thing now. Like the thing about it, what I find for myself and also for a lot of people up there in Holland, especially the young graduates or the graduates themselves, they don't really know what they study, huh? Like they really don't know what they're capable of. They're very humble and so about it sometimes to the point that they're in a totally different job just because they never gain a bit of experience with the area where they're actually good at, you know? So
Mhm.
yeah, man.
Nah, yeah, I feel you, and I like that. Like I say, helping businesses or individuals get things done faster, like that. Simple. That's short to the point, like you say, ain't a big pitch, like, yeah, doing this, doing that. No, just simple. And
You want to hear what my old pitch was? Like, yeah,
yeah, I
I have a
curious.
background in law and like financial law. So it's this area of law that dealing with stocks and bonds, and investors and investments, man. Yeah, that's one area. I also good with digitization. I have these special programs. You hearing that? I
Yeah.
didn't even ask the person what they need. Huh? I just start now, just tap, papa, all of this others do, all of this others do. Come and buy from me. Very happy I passed that stage.
Nah, the best way for sure to deal with a client, deal with a customer is to listen to their needs and tailor a solution to their needs for sure. And on that point, yeah, I was going to say like basically I gather that legal concepts you could say is like a consultancy, if you will, like in the sense of like helping people get from point A to point B faster, whether it's by advice, whether it's by automation, whether it's by whatever the solution, and I feel you. I feel you 100%. Similar vibes. It's like you see where things, you see bottlenecks, you see setbacks, and you see how things could be fixed, how it could be streamlined, work smoother, and you just try to add that WD-40 to that friction, simple.
Very good one.
Yeah, so and on that point, that's why, like you say, let me say we've been collaborating, you know, and providing different proposals for different people. And, you know, my question to you on that is, we've been dealing with different organizations and things, and I'm curious to know, in your opinion, was one common challenge you see that keeping organizations from growing right now?
Well, I would say I'll put it like this. Um, from what I've been hearing a lot is managing capacity, and another term and so for that is, for instance, on St. Martin. I'll put it like this: I'm a very apolitical person. I try to stay away from politics. I don't know why. I have no reason. I mean, I don't have no problem with no politician, no beef, no this, no that. But I always had this feeling from young that they got a lot going on in the private sector, a lot going on there. So what I'm trying to say with it is that when it comes to the whole idea about business, about consultancy, about making things happen, it's like a natural path just led to me towards the efficient route of getting it done. And then it was like for instance, right now, I with automations and so on, I'm on a whole different level now with AI. But the thing is, I never really noticed that. We will get around to that another time. But um, what I saw, for instance, if I have to do mention anything about government, is I saw from abroad, because from abroad I find I have that perspective. That's why sometimes when I come down, I gallivanting left and right because I seen the things all the time online where they're pushing for tourists, and I like, you know what, I can have that tourist experience. But what I saw was that, for instance, with government, is that they will be trying to do the right thing, but very few people actually there are capable of doing the right thing, like being able to do it. I'm talking about the capability. I'm not
Yeah,
talking
like I get it accomplished, execute.
so, but the thing is, that's the case every single place in the world. So it's like sometimes I just hear, like, government ain't doing this and ain't doing that. But it's like all over the world is the same story. But sometimes when you're on the island, you don't really see it that way. And that's why I'm saying when it comes to capacity, like something what interests me, and I hope that the upcoming period, especially when it comes to AI, is that there comes a better line between what falls under the private sector and what falls under the public sector. Because even if I have to talk about capacity, I mean, with artificial intelligence, to a certain extent, you can create things that are really scary. Like just like a few months ago, I was talking with a person who had a job as management assistant, and within two tools, something popped up on my AI system called management assistant. But I didn't really do much work to make it now, but my work got better and it got easier. And I'm like, if these type of technology is available, it would be really great if we could introduce them. But at the same time, it's not perfect. So when it comes to capacity and the government, it's like they have certain things what government should be doing, and they have certain things maybe the private sector could do it a bit better. But you kind of need both sides to discuss it and talk about how they would go about using technology like AI and so on. Because as it is right now, I've been automating so many things in my work that it's allowing me to actually have more time with students, to get to engage with them, to get to talk with them because the material is already finished. So it's like we can do a lot when it comes to capacity.
Totally 100, 1000% agree. Even with what you say about government could and should do more, and also the private sector similarly, that whole story by itself. So we ain't even gonna go into that one. But like I say, totally agree. And of course, we got some questions related to AI coming. But before we get into that, I since you mentioned what you mentioned, you say about the assisting and the capacity, and you was mentioning how AI could help, and you mentioned how businesses, let me say, kind of limited right now, for lack of a better word. So even tying it into the courses you taught recently here in St. Martin on the project management and the strategic planning, why do you think so many businesses struggle with execution instead of ideas?
Well, okay, I'll put it in this way: for what I'm doing with the courses on St. Martin, I tend to look at things from an annual cycle because I like to automate things. So I kind of like to see the pattern what happening throughout a year. Like for instance, St. Martin has 4 quarters. At the beginning of the year, they got in February. We always know they got Valentine's coming up, and then they got the Heineken Regatta, and then it's like if you're heading more towards Q2, then you have Carnival. You have different events, and it's like, for instance, now in this quarter, a lot of people just call it the lowest quarter. Like it'll be a bit rough, and so for some people, they just say Taurus, and so in there, and then it's like you head towards December is another quarter, is another story. But some of these things happening um, every single year. So when it comes to how to operate a business, I noticed that because I also have a background with data analytics too. So I mean, I just gather the data. Sometimes maybe it's interesting to mention this. It's like the function what I have at my job is I'm a data law and data mining technology lecturer. And with data mining, it means you find ways to get the data from the right people. So at the beginning of the year, the first session what I did had to do with project management on an annual basis, not monthly project. The whole year we want to put in a calendar. And for that one stuff, I even made a whole album with AI, and I never brought it out. People told me I should bring it out. I'll think about it, but it's
I was in that class, and yes, we had that, and we even say we would have bring it and introduce it here on the podcast and all.
yeah,
So
you see.
it's ironic that you bring it up here on the
It's
podcast, because
faith, man. It's faith. It's discernment. Is
I
God
telling
planning you
you,
out to
God
tell
and
you, nah,
AI.
nah, nah, get in with that one. Look at me
I
just
telling
running my
you,
mouth
I
now, man.
telling you.
But
No, but yeah,
with that one self, like just last week I did a business model canvas course. And one interesting thing about it is that the main thing what participants had to show at the very end on the Friday was that if you're busy with AI, they have like apps on your phone. You could just go to your phone and type, make a business model canvas for me. But many people don't know that. Like I made a joke with some of the participants. I said, you guys could have done this from Monday, and then you'd have your business plan. I have a background with assisting companies become investor ready. I would have been helping them to become investor ready, but I got hired for one reason. I got hired for that reason. I got hired to assist with business model canvas. You come inside there, you do what you got to do, because when it comes to investments, a lot of people don't really understand. Like it takes time. It ain't like you see like $10,000 and bam, you get it. No, you gotta follow some steps and so to get that done. On the other hand, when you know what you're doing and then you're making use of AI, like the participants themselves, last Friday is when the course finished. I mean, we went out with each other to gallivant a bit because I gotta stay to the slogan. You gotta work hard and play even harder now.
that is
So
it.
we sit down by a restaurant and I was like, guys, um, what if we raise some money to help someone with a capital injection in this period? And in the time frame of about 2 hours, I saw how these people pick up the phone, called people, contacted people, and they create like something like a partner hand type of thing. On an investor level, you would kind of see crowdfunding and micro bonds, but anyways, a type of partner hand type of thing that if I have five and you have five together, we have 10. So they do that, and at the end of the 2 hours or within 2 hours, they had raised 5,100 for entrepreneur dollars. And then it was like to give that entrepreneur a call and be like, hey, this is something what the group kind of thinking of for you. Can you chip in a bit extra on your end? Because you got to check that too now. They got some people who, if you arrange things for them, they take everything, and that's a huge risk, what I would say, because it's
Yeah,
business.
like a
It's not
heat
like,
check. You want to see how serious they is. Yeah,
you know, the
yeah,
person was serious. The person said, they can handle it. And now, and this is the thing, now it's for instance on me to help finish off that process. Otherwise, you give people a bunch of false hope. And then after the question is like when the money coming in. On top of that too, they might also have some legal stuff attached to it too, because it's like, okay, maybe it's one transaction. Okay, maybe that ain't such a big deal. But what people turn around and go for 10 times the amount, which is possible. But you could do it for good or you could do it for bad. So that's it, even with this deal, even though something small, you one time jumping into things like the rules from maybe the central bank or certain legislation, when you're actually just trying to help a person. So
yeah,
I'm saying that because the money got raised, that's a process in so on itself. But what the business model canvas workshop teaches you is that You are that business, and when you become a business, it's something totally different than you just doing your own thing. And you have to learn how to become an entrepreneur. If you wasn't in your family, you're a first time entrepreneur, you got to learn the lingo, learn the vibes, learn the energy. Because other than that, you could put together a business model canvas in 5 minutes, but is it a good one?
Facts. Nah, facts. Facts, facts. And I ain't gonna lie, you say a lot there, and I had a lot to respond on, but to just sum it up, I was going to mention how you had your little investing session, your little Shark Tank
Partner, that
moment.
was sick, man. That was sick to see, partner. That was sick to see, partner. What?
No, but you see, to that point, like, you know, like I said, I commend you because, helping people and the people that need it, the people that people would look at as like small fish, or like just they'll overlook because it's like, yeah, not so large, but it's good to have somebody there looking out for you, helping you traverse the system and understand how to do things the right way.
I
But
find from that
even
point too, and then you could go ahead, but I gotta mention this too. Like picture that person who actually got a phone call late in the night. Cause it was a bit late, it was like 10 o'clock or so. You weren't expecting somebody to give you a call up. Like, yo, listen, if you could contribute this and this, then that's yours. Picture what a person dealing with, going through slow season, struggling and all, because it really was a struggle. Now the person, they mentioned some things and so to me, and that way sometimes with these things I got to be a bit cautious because it ain't a preferential treatment. I'll do it for any and everybody. But the thing about it is sometimes people just argue about $20 and $10, and I like, okay, that's so okay, you got $10 to contribute then, and then you just see them pull that away too. So it's like it ain't about preferential treatment. It's about people who actually dealing with a business, thinking for themselves. I got children, I got a family. What does a capital injection do like that? What does giving somebody do like giving somebody that money do for them? And not to mention the person already had the administration and so on order. Otherwise, I wouldn't have called them. It's not just some random person I know on the road. But at the same
at the
time,
same time,
the whole group is like, if you know somebody who got himself in so on order, it's like, I just visited and I on vacation. It's like you know people better than me. And I hope even after that period that the lesson stays of maybe you can't raise that amount in one night, but maybe you could get through with a 500, maybe you could get through with a 200, maybe you could get through with a 100 now. If people giving a bit of 10 here and a bit of 10 there, maybe that could be manageable now. Because sometimes even if people have the money, they're afraid to spend it. So sometimes you gotta start out small, give them 100, because if you give them 1,000, they're gonna spend it.
true. I feel you, and even to that point, like how you say, for sure, that going to be like an immense upliftment, an immense like positive moment in that person's life when they get a call. And going back to one of the points you made on that statement is, after building up that hope, you gotta execute, and that's something I hold very dear. Like a lot of people, they got a lot of talk, but like we about action, we about making things happen and actually following through, not just starting up good, 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 and then you're doing the down. Nah, we bringing it to completion, executing, actually making it happen, and that's what we're doing for people. Bottom line, like how Carlvin just explained, he had his trainings that there in itself is assisting business entrepreneurs in bettering themselves and strengthening themselves on how to manage their business. But then on top of that, he still provided other opportunity for them outside of that. And that's basically what we're doing. Because for myself too, as a AI consultant, business consultant, is the same thing. You meet with a client, you have like a discovery, get to know them, understand what their bottlenecks are, and then you provide solutions and just make sure you execute it. Yeah. most probably give them a timeline, and you just try
Wait,
to
hold up there.
do it.
No, a lot of people don't do that. That right there is one of the most important parts of business, a timeline.
Yeah,
Because you have to
facts.
manage expectations. Sometimes, like even up to the person with the situation for that type of internal structure, the person even contacted me like, what's the expectations? So you got to give them a timeline too, because while for some other person, and this has happened, I'm gonna say a lot because I ain't got no numbers on that. And maybe we should tell people too, where's the facts? Where you read that it is happening a lot. But anyways, it's like the person was asking me that, but that person has bills to pay, family to upkeep. It's not that they're just trying to be, irritating. No, they're trying to like, get things done, and they have to know what to expect, when to expect it so that decisions can be made.
Yeah, facts. Do your due diligence. Make sure everything is clear and open. Honestly, I look. You is somebody who don't watch this podcast. I talk about my execute with excellence framework. All this just tying all right
I
into the
love
fact.
you too now, so I gotta make sure I know what I'm doing now. I gotta make sure what I say and what I don't say now. I gotta make sure that if I say something, I say it correct now.
Nah, man, you know what you're talking. I know you know what you're talking about for sure. Because like I say, like how we've been collaborating, dealing with all these different proposals and helping, assist different entities and thing is like it's exactly what you say is what we're doing. We meeting with people, finding out their problem, coming with a solution and actually solving it, like executing. That's the key thing. Like yeah, everybody to come with a nice song and dance, but are you going to actually get yourself on the other side of the road? Yeah, you gotta
Listen, remember your song and dance is possible to do both, huh? It's possible now to make AI music with a song and dance. Like when I go back up to the Netherlands this time, right? They have different platforms. I'm gonna put books and so inside of that and just be jamming, talking about financial statements when I get the chance. Because it's possible if I know the right prompt, I got bouillon left and right, talking about proper invoicing structures for St. Martin and the difference between St. Martin and the Netherlands, explaining people, get the BV, oh, get the BV. Like, I mean, all of them things is possible, and it's like so amazing now what technology can do for education. Huh? But anyways, I just had to throw that one in because a lot of people don't know that. And you start to say something about dancing and so, but yeah, sound a tiny bit outdated there now because it's possible now to jam while you what?
yeah,
Learn
yeah.
the
Oh,
thing or two while you
and of course, Carlvin King will come in with that one. So
boy, you should see me on the road, man.
no, but to the point that we was making just now too about like helping businesses and thing, that's one thing I would say I've admired about you, is how you help people see possibilities they didn't realize existed, you know? So I'm curious to know if, in your opinion, how do you train yourself to think strategically like that?
Well, I would say one main thing with strategy is, let me talk about business. Huh?
Yeah.
I spoke with people who they good at their work, they good at what they're doing, and they ask somebody else to give them like 30,000, and I just look at them like, okay, what happened if you get sick? Like just if you catch the flu, that company you want them to give you 30,000, you catch the flu, you're out. Do you have a backup? And then they look at you like, but I don't get sick. It's like, okay, maybe that might work for for a transaction of $50. But even then, people gonna come after you. Maybe they throw a rock at you because you don't pay them $50. Like you don't know if that was the last 50 what that person had. Huh?
Facts.
So my thing with it is when you start in business, you have to have a key partner. Like for instance, the very last day in the session, I kind of did this type of Mr. Beast type of thing with the students, and I was like, "Hey, listen, you could get support, and you could get support, and you could get support. But if this list what I have here, not everyone is checked off, because I teach now, so I put all of them in class. I say, listen, I have this list here, we'll have to get checked off. If you do not, if one person on this list is not checked off, nobody gets any benefits because we are strong as our weakest link. And then you have to see people. They had some people who was like, they start to look around and so a bit, and they was like, "Boy, let me help this person." And then what the amazing thing where you start to see like one person just stand up out to the group. They had this partner with locks. They had two partners, but one for sure. He had the partner with locks. He like, "Boy, I just do this every single day." I was like, all right, sir, do your thing. But he went and they had like a couple there who was not familiar with AI. The man sit down with them, help them install the application because they got past the test. So if they ain't pass the test, nobody get anything. That was the whole thing about it. But at the end of the day, they still ain't gonna get anything from me because I can't pay them. Because sometimes they could do stuff for themselves and generate the value. I know how value does work, but that's a conversation for another day. Anyways,
Mhm.
whatever I say I'll do, I'll do. Just to be clear with that. But coming back to that situation, you saw some coming to check themselves off. You saw some struggling to get it done. You saw some helping each other to get it done. And then inside of that whole thing, this when it comes to the whole process, is like a throw a time on it because I gotta have a beginning and an end because we gotta measure progress. And I watch how those people push and push and push each other to make sure that they could come next to me. And I said, it has to be on your phone because we're not dealing with computer because you don't have a computer all the time by you. You have a phone by you all the time. Most of the time is a phone you have. So you just have to be able to show on your phone. I got an app. I have a business model canvas here. I generated it. I could make it longer. I could make it shorter. And then they had some of them who went and take a picture, add it into AI, and you see in the business model canvas just looking beautiful. But my point is, with that whole session, they got through with 18 seconds left. It was a movie.
Yeah, that like clutch, like the game winning shot, Sam. Yeah, just in the nick of time. Yeah, ah,
18
but that's
seconds.
cool. That's cool, and I like that because it shows you the power of teamwork, and like I just say, like the old people that say, divided we fall, united we stand, and we get a lot more done together.
Well, I have one
So
more thing to add to that, then you could continue. So the
mhm.
following day, I looking at my phone and WhatsApp a message pop up. One of the participants, instead of only staying to business model canvas, went and turned around and put together menus and thing with AI and generated images. And that participant was saying from the beginning, I never used AI before. And I said, look at that now. In a week, you're putting together business model, canvas, and next to that, too, you're putting together a menu for your restaurant. And she sold out that day.
Good.
Business is real,
Yeah,
man. Business is real.
yeah. A lot of times it'll be we sleeping and we selfie. It's check. We have opportunity, but it's we keeping ourselves back. And
Yo,
like I
well,
say, and
and one
uh
last thing about that too now, and then you could go
huh.
ahead. But I just gotta throw this one in and then you go ahead. So you can see me up on the island jamming and so on, walking up to somebody by a club, say, boy, you worth 1 billion. What you gonna do with it? You worth 3 billion, you worth 500 mil, you worth 2 million. If somebody, oh, you have little faith. Okay, you're worth 20,000. Is that too much? Okay, you're worth 500. Whatever works to get them to see a greater value in themselves, the number don't matter now. And the funny thing is sometimes people think I serious with it now. And like, you think I gonna come to an island in the Dutch Caribbean? I understand so much about financial law, and I gonna walk up to your face and I'm gonna be telling you stuff. Yeah, 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 the investors come in. But of course the investors come in, but it ain't nothing special. You still have to have the money on your bank account. And some people just take those words literally just because they see somebody tell them something to give them hope. So sometimes even when you're giving people hope, and that's what I did in the training, I tell them all of this, all of that. I say, look, I can help you with one and I can help you with two. The goal of the training is this, because you have to manage expectations. But to round off the point we were saying with it is that the key thing what came out of the business model canvas meeting sessions, what I found out is you got to know who your key partners be, because sometimes you don't got the money and they give you a tiny bit of credit. Sometimes you don't got the food and like the person next to you give you a plate of food. Maybe you walk to a restaurant, the person just see you struggling that day, they give you a plate of food that save you a bit of $10 that day now. We need more of that. And we gotta find a way how to do that legally. But if that's we culture, that's when you only hear me say, maybe the laws got changed, and maybe we gotta know what laws available to facilitate those type of actions, because we are caring culture. As much as some people would tell me, say, Martin, not the friendly island. Every time I come here, I got a neighbor, she above 90, a former neighbor of mine. I reach her, she like, come, come, come. They got figs to the back. Grab a knife there. It's right there, right next to the kitchen sink. She know where it be now. She above 90, but she know where that knife be now. Because when guests come, she like, you know what? I ain't got money and everything to give you, but I got a fig tree and I got some figs. You want some of this? The other neighbor gave you some coconuts. Anybody could do it. You could go on the road and you could sell coconut, but what if you get one free of charge? Man, on this island, be amazing and be friendly people.
Facts. Like I say, no place in the world like St. Martin, And yeah, to your point, I agree with you, it's always good to have a helping hand, like you say, whether it's small scale, like you say, or even in business, when you have good partners, good collaborators, whether it's, business, like you say, strategic partners, does be necessary and helpful, because you never know what situation you're going to encounter, So I like that insight. And it's funny, like how you mentioned Mr. Beast. I actually, ironically, here and there, when I want to like de-stress, I actually been watching like some Mr. Beast videos lately. And the other day when we was talking about like Mr. Beast and checking like, yeah, I like certain things, certain movements have been moving on. It's like a kind of Mr. Beast movement self, and checking my hair for real. But that
Wait now.
philanthropy.
The video gotta come now. The video gotta come. So listen there. We walk out. We walk out. I'll put it in this way. Oliver's a very successful man, but he's so humble about it now. But last night I get him good. We went outside. All the drinks was on me. I just standing up saying this man accomplished a lot. We went and ordered candles, sticks, and so on. You seeing everybody looking like, who is this guy? And like, this guy does make me money, man. That man right there. And then you seeing people coming. You seeing even women watching, but we ain't bothering with none of that because we some fellas out having a good time, no? A very successful man here, very humble. I won't bust your pop. You're too humble with it, man.
LOL. Oi, all I can say about that is what? Bye, look, I watched that
No,
video.
don't say nothing about that. Leave them hear about it.
I laughed so hard when I watched that video. Checking my face looked so unbothered. But nah, man, it was a vibes. It was a vibe set. Yeah, check. But
Okay, maybe I gotta continue a bit till you catch yourself now. But yo, man, very successful man here, very humble man here. And I'll tell you this now. One thing what you got with me now, it don't matter what the number be, the process for me is the same, man. You could come at me with $5, you still gotta send an invoice, huh? Matter of fact, proposal and the invoice. So I'd be telling people, man, send the proposal. If they got a proposal, it's like if it accepted, you gotta send the invoice when you gotta get paid. I'm still waiting on your proposal now. The right way now. You got the email address now. Hi. I checked today with my financial team and stuff and so like that. And then after they tell me nothing come in, and I say, you know what, I'm happy because I ain't come to the business self. So you're gonna wait with that till I go back up to
proposals sent, sir. Anyways, so moving on. And yeah, you don't know, big up my myself in one time in a chat, one time again
This is
too.
how it is going on.
I
It's like we on a podcast and I done already, yo, but this man gotta make me money. And I'm like, okay, but I ain't here for that now. They got so much opportunity left and right, man. Anyways, go
ah,
back
you
where you
got
do
me
your
laughing.
thing. This
Ah,
your
you got me
podcast.
laughing. Ah, you got me laughing. Blessings Enigma, by the way. Thanks for joining. See your comment in the chat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love alone. Blessings. Big up on yourself one time. But yeah, so like we talk about the business, we still gotta talk about like the faith and thing. But um like how we touch on AI a little bit. Let me jump on that. You still got me laughing a little bit. But anyway, so let me say like this: AI is everywhere right now. For me, you know about that. We on that. We doing automations. We building apps. We doing all kind of thing. Like honestly, what you need, reach out to us. Whatever you need, you can reach out to us. Yeah, we get things done. You know here. Anyway, like we say, apps, automations, proposals, SOPs, standard operating procedures for those who don't know, and all that good stuff. You check, but I want to know from you, what's the biggest misconception people have about AI?
That it biased only towards the negative things. There is have people who turn around and say like, okay, I'll put it in this way. Once again, if you're in government and you're doing stuff in some side of there, the whole definition of AI is different because sometimes these systems just go like I turn around and I just type into it, I don't know, but give me a recipe. Before you know it, you see a bike tire show up in this inside of that now, because the algorithm say you gotta cook rubber. Like, so you gotta. It is not perfect. The flip side about it too is that if you are a positive person, a lot of people don't notice about the AI systems is that they actually get better based on what you feed them. So if you're a positive person, you're actually AI powered positive. So you're given AI powered positivity. If you're a negative person, you're given AI powered negativity. What I've seen, especially since I have that background with data analytics and artificial intelligence, most of the things what people talk about is not as negative as it could be. I wouldn't even jump into the negative type of topics what are out there because it gets really bad. But the positive ones get even better too. And that's why you need to have faith because with these AI systems, they can generate so much. They can do so much to change your life. Like that what I just mentioned with that business owner being able to generate a menu. You know the type of positive thoughts what will come through her mind now if she's inside of the shop and she sees an ingredient or two that she never really used or so before. And then after she take a picture of those ingredients and then the AI do pra 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 because the AI knows her name, knows her background, already know how positive she be. So it done
Yeah, it's
already thinking like
personalized.
positive type of cooking vibe. And on top of that is AI enhanced, man. When people come and eat your food, they ain't got a chance.
Facts. Facts. Nah, I like that you say that. And a lot of people don't know, like, you know, like they say, what you put in is what you get out. So if you put in garbage and get out garbage, and like you say, if you put in positivity and get out positivity, and basically like you were saying, when you use your AI, you could kind of personalize it. It'll get to know you. It'll build a memory bank and knowledge base of you, so it'll know like, okay, you like to do this type of cooking, you like to use these type of products, and you don't like these type of things. Like you say, use a positive, bubbly, cheerful person, so he'll have a positive, bubbly conversation with you, and just positive vibes. But like you say, like a lot of people feel like, yeah, AI is negative, yeah, AI, ain't good. AI could do a lot of bad things, but that's with everything. With everything, they have a good side and a bad side. You gotta know, make sure maximize the good, and that's what we don't do in life in general. We as a
Yeah,
society, as people, we always focusing on the negatives. We always could talk about and promote and highlight the negatives, but we don't promote the positive usually, you know. So for me, I
No, you
always
see
try to
that
stay
that's a very
positive.
good point because it's like I would say two things with it. Wait a minute there. Let me make sure that I have my finger there before people start messaging me. And no, don't message me anyway. So, like I was saying, um, when it comes to AI, right? I live in the Netherlands. I don't see enough positive things about Samaritan online. That's when you got some biased AI. Because if sometimes we just talk about the history of different cultures and so on throughout the world. I'm not going to go into depths of it, but you can kind of read through the line.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, what is our own history and what we're pushing out? What are we choosing to manually push out ourselves? You know what I'll be thinking of on St. Martin? For traffic. What about they got some area on sandy ground now? Because I come down here and I have tourists, I want the tourist experience, I gotta be in traffic. I was thinking to myself, boy, what if somebody say that cultural building there, I don't know, wherever it be, but go sandy ground, the first person who take 30 pictures get, I don't know, 15 euros. Maybe they got somebody standing there already. They can take picture. Boom! Make some money off of that, sending that online, sending out a whole different message now. Last but not least with that, well, let me finish off that one because two ideas along those lines I talked about and just use them, people. What will that do for traffic if you turn around and say $300 go to this area now? People might turn around the car, be like, man, I want to wait in traffic anyway. Turn around the car, start going in a different direction now. And then before you know it, you kind of got like these hot spots on the island. Whenever traffic get hot here, you put an event down there now. And what would be so amazing is, what if we look at our old cultural monuments and we go to them and we do the event there and they got like 15 people there taking pictures, and then you add a little prompt with Google Gemini and you say, imagine what would happen if let's start off simple now. 100,000 get dropped on this. You see a whole different image. But the last period I turn around and say, what would happen if 500? Can't tell you, I go up right in front of Milton Peters now. I take a picture of the road at night. I say, what would happen if we drop 500 billion on this? Man, the thing look like Wakanda now. I like, wow, the
Yes,
city of
futuristic
Wakanda.
self.
I grew up in the city, but my point is, you know what I'm going to do for real estate value? You see that old crashy building? The investor out there don't know about it. Because I'll tell you this one thing, a lot of times popping up online is what going on with the scooters. What going on with scooters? You're seeing scooter accidents. You're seeing scooter accident, car accident, scooter accident, car accident. If I abroad and I thinking about going on vacation, why will I go to an island when a lot of the sources of information is like a scooter accident here, and then you come on the island and you're dealing and so on with that. But let me bring it back to faith now. Let me bring it back to faith. Because I start to say to myself, maybe I seen this whole thing with scooters wrong. I want to have the faith of a scooter driver, rider, who doing the vroom 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 and believe deep in his heart that my car will move.
Wait, say that courage
The
and
courage. Sometimes it'll make me question my faith. I'd be like, do I believe in God that much that if I see an obstacle in front of my way, that
I
I
don't
will
falter.
proceed in the name of Jesus?
Jesus take the wheel.
You know what I mean? They live in that life trusting in Him more than me. I mean, look,
I ain't gonna lie. You got me laughing. That's an interesting spin to put on it.
mine, it's like I'm
And
not
I ain't gonna lie to you.
talking bad
I
about
think
the
I
bad
think
part, but I'm talking about the good part because we got the good part too. Now we
look,
just swerve.
but so this is what I'm saying. I think what you just say, right? You got me crying about. Whoa. I think what you just say would like really put a good spin on the bike pop
Like,
situation on St. Martin,
it's
yes.
like,
And
give them a Bible.
And you got a lot of people here that dislike it and they talk very negative towards it and thing. But I think if they had to look at it like that,
Have
they
faith,
might
man.
ease. Yeah, they might ease up a little bit. They might tell themselves like, "Bye, I go in church every weekend, but I don't have as much faith as this boy and this scooter self when he wheeling in the middle of these cars,
No
checking, yeah,
light on.
Jesus, take the wheel."
No light on self now. He must be using AI self to maneuver even better. We didn't even know that he said that obstacle in front of me, I shall proceed. But I'm making a bit of a joke and so out of it, but on the other hand, I really am serious about it too. I'd be like, boy, I move to the side, and then I'm like, they're right. Because if you have faith, you can move a mountain now.
That is it. Look, David take down Goliath, and we doesn't realize that we just feel like the battle is bigger than us. And as with anything, whether we got idea that we want to bring to life, or whether it be family situation or work situation, we just feel like everything stack against us. But even the smallest, once you have faith, you could take down the biggest. Yeah, straight up. Yeah, straight up.
Big ups to the scooter life here, man. There's no hate from my end. There's no hate and so at all. I think if they're traveling back and forth, maybe there could be some, get things quicker to a location and you need less cars, less gas, less consumption, less CO2. Or we could turn around and just hate on them. I was talking with a partner, yeah, it was yesterday. Nah, but I don't know the days anymore. But anyways, what would happen if we put together an application for those people? Like put together an application, like you got a scooter, you got your license in place, and you got this and you got your working lights and stuff and so like that. Then we could throw you onto the system, and then after boom, if food have to get delivered, we don't already know you got that faith. But
I
then
feel you.
we should start to structure it, it's like because on one end it can't be too risky. But anyways, we even brought me here to
I,
talk with us.
Nah, yeah, and we digress a little bit, but that was worth it. I think everybody here would agree. But yeah. So yeah, like how we talk about AI and thing, and like you share about the misconception that like AI is all bad, and that people should realize that you know if we add more positivity into it, it can have more positivity out there, period. You check? But on a similar note, I'm curious to know from you, do you see AI replacing people or empowering people? I feel like another answer. Gotta ask it.
Well, I mean, like first of all, it's going to replace that. There's no doubt about that. Well, at the same end of it too, is like in education, it's different phases, huh? Because like back in the 1980s, people were flipping out because a calculator got introduced into education. Huh? They started to say, yeah, but no, the people ain't gonna think because they could just type things in and boom, magic. We don't need that sorcery here. And then after that, too, then after they had the wave of the computer, I said, oh gosh, people gonna get lazy. They can just be sitting on behind the computer the whole day. And now we with AI, boy, people gonna get lazy. They could just be sitting down behind the phone the whole day. But so it's like it's the same thing happening over and over and over. But the flip side about it is why you don't ask AI what type of jobs will they have that matches with me in the future? Then you start to see crazy things like, I mean, this is a bit technical, but important prompts. Like since I came to St. Martin, I have a foundation up in the Netherlands what I started a few years ago with some people, and we was aiming at what can we do to help our people get back. Since then, it was like a struggle to keep the foundation afloat. In the sense, like you have some people leave, some people come, some people go. You want to maintain it. But now with the energy, what I have, and being part of this whole thing, I'm thinking for myself, we should be importing prompts. If we up in the Netherlands and we see in the news and so happening and so on, we could put a prompt online that somebody like, hey, I kind of want to see this image, and somebody copy and turn that into an image. Then I could share that on my page. Because the thing about it is, you can walk down front street, back street. Matter of fact, any street for that matter, but they will use those. And then after you seeing garbage and so on the road, you could flip out, you could flip on it, or you could take a picture and be like, yo, the road clean now, come through tourists, because the same tourists coming to bring the money to throw it in everybody's hand to clean the road. Then we can turn around and say we want to get money and so on the island. We could import money by importing prompts. But that's a new job where many people don't even know exists. It could be a prompt importer.
True. Now I feel you like basically saying that it's still got opportunity out there for you, and maybe that one job that you have might adjust or shift, but that don't mean you have to get lost,
They
or
still
you
need
could
you.
always,
Like
yeah,
I'm so efficient with AI right now, and a lot of people don't know this, but I'll share it on the podcast. And so here, I guess the cat's out the bag. I reach so efficient with AI that I could create digital people and all of that. But I actually want to work with people because it actually more efficient to work with them than with AI. Imagine that. So I max things out so much that I literally now have the freedom to be like, yo, Oliver, how your week going? Because if he talk 5 minutes too long, I ain't thinking I'll finish out that job. But that job done. AI. I getting to know the person. Imagine what I'm going to do for our tourism product. This is the part people don't talk about too. Before I had to do a whole heap of administration and this and that. Now you take a picture of that thing done. If people use like a program called Cloud, oh my gosh, whole things get arranged and stuff for you, project management, you name it. You don't even gotta know all of the stuff and so anymore. Those are new jobs that are popping up too. So it's like the fear is understandable in certain cases because your customer doing something the same way. At the same end of it too is that the things that you actually wanted to always do, maybe you could do them now too. You just gotta try it out to see if it works.
facts. I agree, and just basically saying that everybody to have that fear of something new, but sometimes we need to just take that leap of faith, jump in head first and test it out, test the waters and see what it's all about. 'Cause you stay there, it might be just for you. It might be exactly what you've been looking for, you know? And a lot of times we just spend our life wishing and dreaming about things and not going for them, so maybe these just be the push that we need to actually go for our aspiration. But anyways, like what you talk about, Clark, let me ask you this. We spent countless hours working with these different tools, CLAD, ClickUp, Airtable, different automation systems. So, what are some AI tools that every entrepreneur should at least become familiar with right now?
You know, strange enough, I would say for a starting entrepreneur or even very well established ones, Google Gemini. Like Google Gemini is already free. Like the examples that I just mentioned with investing 500 billion in an area, it's crazy that some people take that literal. Anyways, you take a prompt, you throw it inside the system, boom. As an example, since Google Gemini is already on most of the phones, because I think and also for the connection between God and AI, like what you mentioned. It's like if you go to church, take a picture of your Bible now and say, yo, how does this look in real life? Matter of fact, you could take a picture of your Bible and you could take a picture of yourself and you could be David against Goliath now. You can turn around and say, when it comes to obesity, obesity is Goliath and I David. And then that whole story get written out across like it's a Bible story. And then you give that to your children, you give that to your friends and so around, It's even possible to create some videos and so with these things too, huh? So imagine
Yeah.
that you beating obesity because you David going through stuff from the Bible. Things like that could happen with Google Gemini. They have other ones like ChatGPT, they have one Claude, they have Kimi K2, they got all type of names. But I would say if you're not mastering Gemini, you shouldn't even be touching none of the rest.
Honestly, I surprised you won't just say Claude. Stop. But
Well,
nah, I feel
cloud is meant for more technical stuff, technical
yeah,
people,
yeah. No,
coordination.
so I feel where you're coming from. I agree. And Gemini for sure is well versed, especially like you say about the videos and images. They one of the top platforms for video generation right now. Until something else come and beat them. But anyways, nah, I agree with you. And like you say, most of us have Google Workspace, Google account, and email and
No, a lot of us don't have the workspace. I'm happy that you mentioned that because even like when I came back on, if you Google me online, they have a clip what SCDC had put out for me. I made it to Google Video. And then Google Video, they literally break down every single thing to create top quality educational content, business promotional content. And in no time, you're busy using AI, putting together a video of yourself. You got a little animation and so inside of it. And these things is like what, $17 a month, $18 a month.
yeah. So yeah, factually, the Google Workspace is for business and thing, and yeah, you don't normally have to pay for that. But yeah, basically just meaning that most of us use the Google anyway. We have email, we have Google Drive, we have these different things. So why not just use the one from what you're using already? Stick to what you know. Check. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. And I agree. So yeah, you say a lot of things there I want to touch on, but I can just I can just continue.
You're gonna have to do this another time because you was telling me that the time is short because it's like I think you know already I kind of here watching the time because as much as I enjoy the podcast and so I have another person who who willing to do some who want me to do some gallivanting for him. Imagine that. To put it like that, it's like somebody coming through to give me a car for me to drive on the road and just gallivant and promote them.
Nah, yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
that, boy.
I know you tell me I had some other engagements you had to deal with and thing, and that's why I say let me try to wrap it up and thing. So let me just ask you like two, three more questions. One more about the AI and then one or two about the faith and thing. 'Cause we had touched on we had a conversation that we can't just leave slide. Let me say like that. You check? Something we gotta touch on here tonight that yeah. So
Okay, okay.
anyway, so to just drop it on for those watching, if someone owns a small business today and only had, let me say, one weekend to start implementing AI, where would you tell them to begin?
I would say, just like I told the participants, open up, like find a way to go to Google Gemini on your phone and just ask it. Like it's like just it does work just like WhatsApp, huh? And it's like when you type the things in, it's like whatever picture like you're just talking to somebody. I know it can feel a bit strange if you're saying that, but it's like just picture you like you're saying, I really don't understand what's going on with business, but they tell me I need a business model canvas so that I could get a loan. Because most people just go for it for a loan. Just try it. And it's like what I told the participants too, and what I'm telling you as well. Just say make it longer, enter. And then you'll see it gets longer. We didn't tell it how much longer though. If you want it to be shorter, you say make it shorter. And then it'll get a bit shorter. If you tell it you want it to look like a picture, it can turn it into a picture. If you tell it you want it to look like a book, it can turn it into a book. If you talk with somebody who only talks Spanish and you talk English, it could change it one time into Spanish. You get where I'm going at with this? And this is just one system for practical business use. You can have like three different menus and three different languages. And you just work with numbers now. Like number one, number two, number three. So when the person come in, they're like, that one, you can't talk to the tourists who come in with a different language because you don't know the language now. Before you will lose that client during low season. You're gonna lose that client because you can't communicate with them. But now we have the ability to use this type of technology to bridge communication barriers, the things go so crazy now that if you kind of think more in advance, they got like these little pieces where you can put in to translate language real
Real
time.
time.
This is
Yeah.
sci-fi stuff.
I say I need one of they sell. Yo.
We grew up watching this on TV. Super agent spy got show it what he cook up to his ear, and then calling collect he got save credit. I mean, come on, man.
Nah, yeah.
But I'll put
Nice.
it in the end because I'm kind of watching the time a bit. Once again, people, we're flying through absolutely nothing. Even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't believe in God, tell me
So,
where the sun flying to
so
and
look, like how
why.
you say that. Like how you say that. Let me ask my next question. Like how you say about God. Our episode today is titled God and AI. And I want to know from you. Like I say, one more question after this. I promise you. Promise. Why was it important that we include God in this conversation for you? And how how is your connection to God, for lack of a better way to ask it?
You know, I'll put it in this way, and I'll be really straight and so with this. They had some people who walk up and say, "Yeah, but you the Gallivant," and I'll just be like, "But you just watch movie with bad words." At the end of the day, we gotta stop judging each other. I here to do a certain purpose, what God put me on this earth to do. And I am not gonna, I don't care if my purpose look a different way than your purpose. They got purpose to be police officer. They got purpose to be, let's say, military. When you're in the military, you're going pow pow pow, and then we can still turn around and act like it's not so. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is, man, maybe you gotta use AI to help you understand God better. Since I start doing that, I start going through the Bible, and I'll give a crazy story now. It helped me to understand why people didn't, let's say when Jesus and was born, and the Virgin Mary, a man next to her, and listen to it now. Boy, an angel made me pregnant. Put that in AI and look at what was going on back then, and try not to understand that even though it's the creator coming in the flesh, that the man there like, boy, this woman crazy. No disrespect or whatever and so on to the Bible, but you think he'd be like, hallelujah. He wasn't doing hallelujah back then. Leave your wife come up to you and tell you an angel make her pregnant.
You believe in that for sure?
But my only point with it, right? My only point with it is stop judging people. Matthew 7:1 say don't judge people because the same measure you're judging them with, you will be judged with yourself. It's not needed. We have the technology now to make our lives easier. At least, let's say if you want to complain, do the ratio like this. Complain once and help twice now. Then at least we're working towards a better place. I ain't even saying not to complain. Matter of fact, complain more, but just keep the ratio now. Send some
Facts.
positive messages out. And one thing what I really want to tell people is you people have to really understand that the message we're coming out to Samaritan is biased. And I kind of wondering if that's the AI or sometimes just what we choose to like. But at the same time, too, send out some positive messages because I know up in the Netherlands, I just be so concerned about my family down here. Yeah, man, a scooter going to knock them off, and this going to knock them off, and that going to happen. This is the third time I've been here this year. For instance, when I came down for Carnival, I nearly didn't see any scooter. When I came down this time too, I see a lot more scooters riding responsibly. I don't even know why I'm bringing up that topic about just talking about it. Those are things, those are only things we're seeing online, and they got so much more. Go to a restaurant and talk to the people. Put that online. Go down the road, jump in your car, and record with your phone what's going on. Throw some AI music behind of that. They might have ways to make royalties and money off of it. And every day you gotta drive that road. We up in the Netherlands sometimes, and I guess other places in the world, and we just dying to see home. We ain't dying to see the tourist version and so of it. We dying to see that same place where they always have traffic and nobody understand why. Cause that make us feel like we back home. So what I gotta
Ah,
say is Make use of technology to push out the message of St. Martin. And even if you do a bad job at it, I'm gonna work with some people abroad to prompt and take that image and spin it for good because it's possible with AI.
Facts, facts, facts. And like when you talk about technology, I want to know like how technology advancing so fast. You know, how do you personally balance, let we say, technology, business, and your faith?
But I would say to put it like that, that part is easy. The hard part is keeping in mind that it's not only about those things in the sense of you also have your family. I think when you start to combine those three and think for yourself, like for instance, now I have more time to do all of the stuff what I'm doing and be present at home. I'm noticing the impact. I'm noticing the betterment in relationship. I'm noticing just wanting to go out and socialize and no longer be worried about, yeah, I gotta go and because I had that. I mean, the last couple of years, I was doing a lot of this without AI. A lot of it was having faith, saying, hey, one day things gonna be different. But tonight I'm working late, I'm talking with people on St. Martin, I gotta go out the house, I gotta be walking on the road sometimes because I don't want to disturb and so my family and so at home. And now with the technology, I reach a certain point now that I go and sleep earlier. When bedtime come, I able to jump on the bed now. Able to say something more positive. I ain't stressed, less stressful. All of a sudden, pains what I had in my body because of stress and this and that, starting to free up, starting to loosen up. So we just talk sometimes about, the benefits and stuff of AI, but sometimes we just forget what it actually means for your family when you reach that point. That all of the million things what you want to do, then you realize that God put the AI on this earth and you could use it for good or you could use it to accomplish his will.
Facts, facts. And I like that you say that. And like I promise you, this is the last question. So good. Last question. Like how you say, before we started this interview, we had a conversation about balancing business and family. And you know, as ambitious people who are driven, trying to make something happen, whether we got our business, whether we working, whatever it is, like I guess I want you to provide some insight or advice to those people out there who struggling to do the business, make things happen in life, be successful, let me say, reach the aspirations and dreams that they have in life, but still try to have that personal life and socialize and spend time with your family, your loved ones, whether it's your children, your parents, or even your friends, like have that time to socialize. I want you to give some advice to anybody out there who, let me say, struggling with our work-life balance and out there fighting for success, ambitious, just like us. But
You,
they
you
they
know,
they want to go out there and get it, but they want to still have that family time and don't miss out on that time. So what would you say to that person?
okay, I'll be very specific. I'll be very specific in this case. And this going about people who part of the orange economy, cultural, who busy with culture, things like that, drawing, painting. Is I have this one file. If I take that one file and I get a topic, it puts together a whole book based on Samaritan culture. I can take any topic that I want, and I'm talking very specifically to those people because the creative process, a lot of them tend to say, so that's why I'm singling them up. A lot of people just talk about business and finance and all of those type of things. And I'm talking about the stuff what I see my people do every single day when I walk in the road. I ain't saying you gotta stop with what you're doing. But let's say if you have two things, you do them the normal way, do one of them with AI too, no? Because it might shock you that you actually make money off of selling that. We are at the point now that, for instance, when it comes to data, and that's what I would round it off and so with, nobody know what data is, huh? Like I teaching data analytics for like going on 5 years now. The definition of data is the most strangest definition ever. That when you look into it, it comes down to fate, huh? Because data could turn into a house digitally. What data built on? How the house get there? Somebody had to imagine it and have faith that they have some house and that if they type it in, then it's there. What I started to see now, especially with the culture, with like the orange economy, cultural type of jobs, and you could do more to get yourself out. If you have something, just make a digital copy of it, throw it online, or tourists abroad go and buy it. I know I would want to buy it. Now, like, oh gosh, we're going last but not least for the last going on 10 minutes, but this is the last but not least now. Is like the amount of things I would buy on the island because I just not seeing them abroad. Like for instance, if they had a shirt from somebody on the island, like MPC, 50 billion invested, I would buy that shirt. People would be like, boy, where that, oh, that look nice. Where that be? That's on St. Martin. That way they heading to. Because the more I say that, the more they gonna believe it too, no? Faith, size of a mustard seed.
Facts. And on that point, on that same point, Selwyn actually said that in the chat.
What?
You check? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then on the last question I asked, this was his response. Like I say, how to get a work-life balance going, get cloud working fast. That's it. That is it.
That
Nah,
is
but
it.
I agree with you. Like you say, for sure, AI has been a very big benefit to a lot of people, and we need to start getting serious about using it and using it to its full potential, not just asking a question, actually getting it doing work for us. That's what it's for. Automation, things that redundant and we gotta do all the time. Now we got a system that could do it for us 24/7, don't sleep, don't give you back chat, none of them thing. Even if you cuss it, you check. So like he said,
Even if
we
you got
want.
bad, even if you're cussing bad words and doing all of them type of things, the AI can correct it to be politically correct now. So maybe you're flipping out on somebody, don't send a WhatsApp message, now go in AI and leave it, fix it up for you now. You're gonna accomplish a bit more than you think you will, huh?
Yeah, you get more accomplished with honey than salt. Yeah, facts. Nah, but factually, and on that point, I ain't got no more questions. I just close it out on that. But yeah, like I say, I agree with what you say, and to that point, like yeah, people don't realize how AI could really help propel their life and get back that time that they've been wishing for. So totally agree with you. You know, Carlvin, I really, really, really appreciate you and your time for you coming on and sharing these insights with us here. I got
And from my end, I appreciate you. That after that news from last night, that you still so humble on your podcast. But people don't know who we got here. Okay, but I have to head out now. I see now that the car outside, and all I gotta say is be outside tonight.
that is it.
All
You
right
don't
then.
know, bro. You go handle your business. Once again, I appreciate you. Blessings and love. And you have a blessed one. Thanks again. And I show the viewers thank you as well. For viewers, leave comments. Don't worry, I gotta leave him know. But yeah, blessings, my brother. You go to go, you go do your thing. Appreciate you. And you don't know we gonna link up. So later, my brother. Okay, good. So yeah, my people. Yeah, my people. Blessings and love. Yeah, you can see the smile on my face. Nadia, I hope you smiling too. I hope you enjoy this conversation. I enjoy this conversation. And I feel like we share information not for we, but for you. You check? It wasn't about us. So, yeah, man. My people, like I say, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope even if it's just one sentence out of this whole interview that really resonates with you, I hope you get something out of this. We talk about a lot of things tonight. We talk about, let me say, the intersection between technology, business, and faith. Having faith in yourself, having faith in your process and what you're doing. And yeah, just doing what you see you're going to do, executing, So, yeah, once again, I got to give Carlvin thanks, blessings, and appreciation for him coming on the podcast, gracing the All Over It podcast with his presence. You check, you see, Selwyn asking for his contact. You see, big things popping. Yeah, so what I say is, if you want to reach out to him, you could find him on Facebook, LinkedIn, honestly, numerous different platforms. Carlvin Brooks. I think you see how it's spelled from the promo. CarlvinBrooks. If anything, you could reach out to me too, and I could also share his contact information with you if you want to reach out to him for his services. And yeah, basically, like how we expressed today, Carlvin is the leader of the legal concepts entity, and he slash we assist you, business owners, whether small, whether big, with getting things done, executing, whether it's analyzing and providing advice and consulting on ways forward, whether it's providing strategic planning and strategic analysis and helping them put together SOPs or different things, process mapping, understanding bottlenecks, things that keeping the business stagnant, all these different things. And yeah, of course, AI for sure. Anything AI you need, man, call me. If you want training done, call him. Yeah, if you got a group of people that need to get trained on something, whether AI, whether finance, whether legal, call him. Check. So people, don't feel hesitant. If you listening to the sound of my voice and you know you need any of these things, any assistance in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. You check, we here for you. We here in this together. We here is positivity and faith. You check, no man left behind. We trying to make sure everybody on the right path. You check. So with that said, my people, I can wrap up, close off, and yeah, you check. Um, but yeah, yeah, just jump off. Yeah, cool. All right, then. So yeah, my people, blessings and love, and yeah, another episode of the All Over It podcast in the books, episode 66, and yeah, another good one. So, like I say, I always come here bringing you value for sure. Every week, catch me here next week with another one. Honestly, I working on another interview for you, so be on the lookout for the promo for that. Keep your eyes open for that. And like I always tell you, if anything you hear here today was valuable to you, was positive, leave a like, leave a comment, share it. Don't I don't mind you sharing it on your page. I'm just saying, you check. I'll avoid and be like, yeah, but why you sharing my thing for? Nah, hang on this. Card. Check. And if you know somebody out there who need to hear these things, who let me say business struggling, they're going through a lot, maybe they work life balance out of whack, send them this. I know. People might say, bye, but I think so long. But trust me, sometimes these is be the things we need to hear to give us the encouragement we need to pull ourselves out of a rut, to pull ourselves out of the hole that we in. So sometimes we just need a little encouragement, just a little motivation and inspiration to get up, go out there and do it. You check? So yeah, my people, that's all I could tell you. Get up, go out there and do it. Like Nike say, just do it. Like Carlvin said, we gotta have that faith in ourselves. Like he said, the the world, the sun is just in space, in nothing, and it's still making things happen. It's still doing what you gotta do. It's spinning around the planet and providing light and heat and yeah, man, yeah, man. So even in chaos, you could still find a way once you have your plan and your route. You check? So anyways, blessing my people is love alone. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Said when checking, he done looking forward to next week. But yeah, don't worry, man. Like I say, good stuff. Good stuff we're going to be doing. And we're going to be bringing on some good people and good conversations going to be had. Things that you're going to want to hear, things that you're going to want to do. So, and I know what? I ain't gonna like Selwyn, I gotta tell you thanks because you got me checking moving forward. I think I'm gonna try to get like everybody contact information, everybody interview, and lead them, bring it up at the end. Check it, yeah, you want to reach out to this person, email, phone number, back, check. So, yeah, man, you don't know my people, blessings and love alone. Thank you for joining another episode. Whether you watch it live, whether you're watching the replay, I bless you. Sending blessings to you. Appreciation for being here and rocking with me, rocking with the All Over It podcast. Here we uncovering it all. And like I said, good one today, and we keeping it going. We're gonna make sure we bring in good ones to you straight through. Love alone. Have a blessed one, and I will see you later. Big up yourself one time. Have a blessed week ahead. You don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. Ba, 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 ba.